Hi, I'm Jarod. My hope today is to capture some of those emotions that I believe lay at the very heart of the scientific process. I argue that this term science, this umbrella term, observing reality, posing questions, systematically testing possible explanations, this progression is intimately human. From those intrepid individuals following game tracks out of Africa some 70,000 years ago to today's researchers peering into the depths of the cosmos, I argue that that progression is one and the same. My story begins on a dark, starlit night in Northern California. I was at a wildlife refuge called Meese Lake, tracking pin-tailed ducks, trying to determine where they stopped on their long spring migration to northern breeding grounds. From the cab of my admittedly unique tracking rig, I saw something with a long tail bound across the dirt road. I quickly rolled down the window, and what else are you going to do at a time like this? I let out a bleating fawn call. Me, me. The mountain lion immediately locked in on the truck, and it began slinking slowly, deliberately towards me. And then in that moment, its demeanor changed. It relaxed, and it strolled right up next to the cab of my truck, with the window still down, mind you. It plopped down, it cocked its head, and it stared up at me. In that moment, it seemed as if this sentient being was as curious about me as I about it. A few years later, my wife and I washed up on the Andaman Coast, Thailand, to help a dear friend found the Koh Ra Eco Lodge. So Southeast Asia, if you haven't been, it's a magical place. Massive bird-eating spiders, explosions of floral extravagance, geckos gliding through the nighttime air, macaques standing guard over ancient Buddhist temples. My role during this sabbatical year was to train Earthwatch volunteers to systematically survey coral reefs up and down the coast. These reefs face a myriad of threats, from ocean warming and acidification to overfishing. On one such survey, I was at a seamount called Chimpan Pinnacles, and I remember clearly I was focused on a tiny candy cane-striped banded coral shrimp, when the sea went dark, and I saw this massive undulating silhouette. The whale shark banked left, it dropped down, and it swam right alongside me. I kid you not. Up on the dive boat after the dive, there was a friend of mine, a hard gal, and she prided herself on kind of giving the conventional world the middle finger. She sat there, and she was unabashedly sobbing. For you see, to share a moment like this with an extant expression of an evolutionary lineage stretching back hundreds of millions of years, you cannot help but be left humbled. A bit closer to home, in the spring of 2005, I led a field crew, and we were capturing threatened Louisiana black bear sows and cubs, moving them from this island of habitat across this sea of agriculture. Captures involved me climbing these huge bald cypress trees in the middle of swamps, leaning into tree cavities and darting the females in the dens, and then climbing down into the tree to rig the female up to a harness to pull her out. I'm proud to say that spring we translocated 7 females and 15 cubs, which is really no small feat given how well armed those cubs were. One of those females eventually goes on to swim the Mississippi River, and in 2007 gave birth to a litter of cubs. It was the first documented black bear reproduction in the Mississippi River Delta in 30 years. When I think about the small part that I got to play in this drama, I'm overcome with gratitude, with thankfulness. So I'm an unashamed and out-of-the-closet atheist. And as such, I'm often asked, how do you find meaning in your existence? So I wanted to leave you with the words of an astounding philosopher, a humanitarian, and a guy who dabbled a bit in science. Albert Einstein, 1930, penned a letter for the New York Times, and in it he states, "I call it the cosmic religious sense. It's hard to make clear to those who do not experience it, because it does not involve an anthropomorphic idea of God. The individual feels the vanity of human desires and aims, and the nobility and marvelous order which are revealed in nature and in the world of thought. He feels this individual destiny as an imprisonment and seeks to experience the totality of existence as a unity full of significance." So, conservation biology, as many of you sitting in this crowd know, can be a painful discipline. But I find my hope right there. That's my toddler son. I find my hope in his sense of wonder, because it is this wonder, our humility, our gratitude, those little glimpses of interconnectedness that lie not only at the heart of the science that we do, but in what it means to be human. Namaste.